So today's video is about my attempt at putting a Chinese diesel heater in a Harbor Freight plastic box. This is the Apache 4800. Links for everything will be down in the description. So these are some angle brackets. These will make sense here in a minute. First step is to attach your mounting plate. This plate comes with it. Scribe a line right down there so that this can go up flush against the back wall, and then we have to trim a little bit off so that it'll go flush against the back wall. You're probably watching this video and you're thinking this guy doesn't have a clue what he's doing, but I want to tell you this video was made over a year and a half ago, and I've got over 1,000 hours of running this setup right here. So even though it looks like I don't know what I'm doing, it worked. Everything worked. There was never fault code. Sometimes you can get overheating inside the box. You can get overheating from inadequate airflow through the heat exchanger. This setup has not had any of that. So if you can see that line there, I got to cut that line off. Where does this go on now? Back wall would be this way, right? How the fuck did I just do that? There it is. Pretty darn close. Probably could trim off a little more and get this angle a little bit better. So I'm going to buzz off a teeny little bit and it'll look just like that. So you might be wondering, how the heck is he going to put this combustible diesel heater that burns fire inside a plastic Harbor Freight box? You know, I was confused myself when I was trying to figure out a way to get this into some sort of portable unit. I was going to build a box out of wood that was, you know, mostly open on a lot of sides, wouldn't be very weatherproof or just resistant to moving it around, setting it on the ground. So I've got 6 holes marked out here for the brackets. I'm gonna drill them out on the drill press, and then I'm gonna set it in here, line it up, drill out the holes in the plastic for these L brackets, and get this thing mounted in here. And we'll see if it has a meltdown. So they're a little long, but I may end up trimming them off. But if they're not in the way, no sense wasting time trimming them off. All right, well, it's in there rock solid. One thing I didn't think about is this here. Let's see if it closes without catching anything. All right. I think there's room to spare. Yeah, no scratches up there. So that's in there rock solid. Let me spin this around here for you. So this port right here, you can see that, is the intake. That's going to go out this side. This is the exhaust. It's going to loop down and go out this side. This is the heat side. This is going to come out this side and get connected to a duct. Quack, quack. And this is the intake. And this is going to get connected to this piece here. This thing came with it. So I'm going to put that right there, I think. And each one of these will get connected with some flexible ductwork and some tape and pipe clamps, hose clamps. Whoa! Easy, boy, easy. Jesus, fuck. Gonna go in the old reverse action here. Let's see if we can get this to come. No. There we go. I think reverse is the best way to do it, but let's file that out there. So for the supply side, I got these two mass airflow sensor things, and it's going to go just like this. So we've got something to clamp the ductwork onto that goes to the truck or wherever I end up using it, and this will go through the hole. Everything got bolted on, and we got two surfaces to clamp this little flexible ductwork that's going to go between this and this. So you got to drill another one of those freaking holes, and I'll be good to go. It looks lined up. Woo! Danger zone. Forgot what I was doing there. Do her in reverse. Reverse. So as you can see, there's a interference with this lip here and the mass airflow sensor. If you don't know what a mass airflow sensor is, you should probably so what I'm going to do is mark this out and trim that out so that it fits flush. Link in the description. So right there you can get an idea of what area needs to be trimmed out. Weapon of choice when trimming out plastic is my vibrator. Trim off that melted plastic with a razor blade. This is shoved right in there. And now this one goes on the outside. It's going to mark the holes, drill it, bolt it on there. And there we have a connection for the ductwork out and the ductwork right in there. You can see how well that lines right up with the heater. I think I'm just going to go right like this. Let's buzz right through this bitch. On the inside. Hey Google, what time is it?
It's 12:43 a.m.
Ah, shit. Probably had to go to bed. This is your air intake, and this is your air intake muffler. I don't know if it's necessary, but it does keep things out of it. There is a chance that you won't be able to use this. Airflow is the biggest source of problems with these setups. So it slips right onto the air intake. It's going to make a 90 and come out down here at the bottom. You want the shortest, smoothest run for air to come in and air to go out. I've seen guys do all sorts of curly cues and even put the little muffler inside this thing, which is straight up stupid. You want as much of the heat out, the fastest way out. If you want to put the muffler on, put it on the outside. Anywho, I'm going to cut another hole in the side of this thing and feed this through. I'll try not to kill myself again. There we go. This is a much duller bit and it's smaller, so it's got a little less torque working on it. But I am going to try not to break my wrist. Piece of cake. Now this should just pass perfectly right straight through. There we go. I'll probably tidy this up later on by cutting these to length, but until I get the final thing situated, I still got to get the fuel pump in there and get the fuel lines routed. But next I'm going to do the exhaust side, and pretty much it's the same thing as this. So when you're doing this setup, for some reason you can't use the exhaust pipe that it came with. So you got to buy this expensive exhaust pipe. I believe it's because it won't fit over the fitting that I'm going to put here. And you got to have that fitting or else you'll melt a hole in it. So this is a through hull. I believe it's an exhaust through hull, I think, for a boat. I'm going to line this up down here, put it right straight through. See, that hole has to be bigger than the other hole, so I got to dig out another hole saw. So I'm going to make the hole in the side of the plastic larger than this, so there's less of a chance that it melts. Amazing. Comes with these gaskets. It's really not necessary since this isn't a boat, but it came with it, so I might as well stick them on there. Now, will this fit on here? So to line this up, I don't want to waste it, even though it's already got some decent bends in it. This stuff was expensive, so. Of a bitch. Sharp. It's freaking sharp. You ladies out there should probably get some gloves on. So this slides right over there, and I'm just lining it up here, and I'm probably going to buzz this right off with an angle grinder. Don't want to worry about trying to cut this and have it come unraveled. Make sure you get your personal protective PPE. Personal protective equipment. Got to get that burr off on the inside of there so it slides on the exhaust port. So the diesel heater came with several hose clamps. I'm going to use them for now. You probably should seal this up with some exhaust sealant. Probably not going to do that. I'm just going to put it on there and cinch it down, and that'll be that. Got the hose clamps on. Slide it over the diesel heater. There, perfect fit. Perfecto. So I just loosened up the bolts, screws, so I can slide the fitting backwards. And now I'm cinching it down. Look at that, like a glove. So these Chinese hose clamps are probably not very good. All right, exhaust is in, intake is in. I think I'm going to call it quits for the night before I have to modify my fuel tank. So I had this set up 2 years ago in a different configuration, and I need this nipple on the other side. So I've got a couple ideas on how to seal this hole up, and then I just switch it around, and we'll be probably only 30 minutes from firing this up. But this is gonna cost me some time. I gotta find a way to get the diesel out of here and things like that. So I'll see you in the morning. So I had to switch the side that the fuel comes out of. This is my first attempt at plugging this hole. I got a feeling I have to revisit this, but I am confident that I'll be able to get that plugged up. So I drilled a hole on this side so that it can sit flush against the case and these recessed holes that screw this to the case can be used. But where I'm at now is I drilled this hole. There's no burr on the outside, but there's a plastic burr on the inside, and that O-ring that goes up against the inside will not seal unless I cut that burr off. So I'm in the process of making a tool to go in there and cut that burr off. So this here is just a utility blade. Probably should have picked a sharper one, but I cut this off with an angle grinder, and you can't bend these, so you got to heat them up and then bend them. So I'm going to heat that up with a torch real quick, just a propane torch, and bend that so I can stick this in the hole and cut that burr off. There we go. That's all I should really need. Let me go a little further. So now, if I did this right, I should be able to stick this right in there. Oh, perfect. And that cuts right around. Now this is the nipple. Goes on from the inside. You got to use a wire. You feed it down through the hole and poke it through there. It can be a little frustrating, but it does work. I actually was able to do it the other side with just by looping it around. There. So I got that, came through just like that. The hole, how am I doing this, is a little on the small side because I want this to thread into it. That's actually going to help seal that up. So once this gets started, you can just pop this back out, kind of. And your O-ring goes on, and then a nut. And that nut is specific to hold an O-ring. You can see how that fits right in there. I know you're probably wondering, well, holy cow, that leaves a whole 1.5 inches. Yeah, well, you can call it 1 3/4 to 2 inches of fuel that can't be used to go in there. That's just the way it works. Probably could have something come out a little lower, but I think that'll work just fine. This is a 10-liter fuel cell. Now this just gets screwed on there. And still not gonna, I'm gonna mess with this a little bit more. I think I'm gonna get a bigger washer on there. Here's another in progress update. This is the arrangement that I have the fuel lines. This will warm up inside the box, so these will flex a little bit more once they heat up. I do have to wrap the exhaust with exhaust wrap. This part here, this duct, cardboard duct, came with it. So that's what I'm using to connect these two. Probably put foil tape around there. And it also came with these hose clamps. So that's came with a lot of useful things to do an install like this. This side over here, this is too small to fit over these threads here. So I can't do the same thing over here. What I'll probably do Well, this is what used to go on there, and this screws on over here and keeps the two case halves together. So you have to have something clamping this down. So this is going to get foil taped and a hose clamp to keep the case halves squeezed together. And that'll complete this. It'll complete this. Gotta wrap the exhaust. And then, kind of another pain in the ass part of this is you gotta install a fan. So this fan is gonna go right there, blowing air in. And right here is gonna be another exhaust hole where air goes out. So this will be the intake on this side down here, and the exhaust will be right there, keeping air moving past the exhaust and going out the side. Almost done. Most of the hard part's done. It is a little bit time consuming, that's for sure. I already did a test closing this, and this stays up pretty high away from this exhaust pipe here. This distance it's getting close, but that's what you got to work with. We will see how things work. I think having such a short run here, this will get the exhaust gases out fast, and we don't have heat building up in there. Well, here it is in its current form. Not much needs to change, except I need to change the orientation of the fan so the wires come out this side, so I can hook the black and the red up to this black and the red where they come through the case. But I'm going to do a test fire. Another problem I have is I don't have very much diesel. I just got a little bit down there in the bottom. I'm actually going to have to tilt it to get the diesel fuel to here to suck on up into there. I'm going to prime it first. I'm not an expert on the screens yet. I'm pretty sure I got it figured out down and okay to prime, something like that. I'll get it figured out. I'll do a full demo when I get this all hooked up and finalized, which will be in this video. But I just want to see if it fires up before I put it away. As you can see, my workbench is a catastrophe. I've got so many projects going. I got to get this one off the bench and all the associated junk that goes with this project put away. Tidying up the wiring. I've got a little cigarette lighter hookup. This will be pretty much the last thing that I need to wire into this and get more diesel. Okay, starting to take off. I put this extension on there, blowing the exhaust out the door. This exhaust should clean up here in a second. Here it goes. I don't know if you guys can hear the sound ramping up. Intake for the combustion is this one, and this is just the fresh air that gets heated up. So this isn't smoking anymore, and you can't really see the screen, but looks like it's going pretty good. These little meters here, blue, little taller blue, green, and green, and the next one is red. That means we're rocking and rolling. We're burning off some of the oil, but we got hot air coming out this part. It's working. So I got this heater cranking away. It's running flawlessly, putting out great heat. The only thing I'm noticing is there's a lot of stuff burning off. See all that smoke? My exhaust wrapping. See, I don't know if that's showing up, but it's I can poke my eye in there real close and see where that smoke's coming from, and it's coming right off all that exhaust wrap, and it's a little old, a little dusty, and I'm assuming everything's got to burn off. So I'm just gonna let this run for, I don't know, 20-30 minutes until I run out of diesel. hopefully all that smoke stops burning. Put my hand in there and it's pretty hot. Even with 2 layers of that exhaust wrapping, it's pretty hot in there. This happens to be one way to run it. You can see there's the wires go in here. I've got another hook up here. I believe this goes in my truck to heat the bed of my truck when I'm camping out of there. And I have another attachment with a flange on it that goes in the window of my camper. And I've got, you know, it doesn't take long to get 1,000 hours when you're running it 24 hours a day. It's about 40 days in the backcountry of the Rocky Mountains in the wintertime. We just got back from a weekend trip. The overnight low was 10 degrees. We were super comfortable in the bed of the truck. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to see this in action, there's a couple videos. Maybe there's not yet. I'm way behind on videos for this channel, but we use it all the time. I'm going to be uploading more on this channel going forward. I got a year's supply of videos. I highly recommend the Harbor Freight box. As I said earlier, I made this a 1.5 years ago. I'm going to try to find all the links for all the parts, the exhaust port, the mass airflow sensor. I may have gotten this piece at Lowe's, the computer fans, everything. I'm going to try to put all the links down in the description.